What do you do when, because people have, sorry to cut you, I'll let you continue on that. What do you do if you were in the shoes of so many other people and even the press, and you go about carrying out your job, your duty, and you realize that 1, 2, 3, 4 people, I mean, for instance, the narrative we're getting from those that were kidnapped, they all come back to say, we were kidnapped by Fulani headsmen, we were kidnapped by X amount of Fulani people, and they come out to say this was the ransom we gave to them. So are they going to come out and say because they just don't want to say it the way it is, then they put it on another ethnic tribe?
You see, we must confess we have criminals among the Fulanis. We cannot say that there's no criminals in the Fulanis. We have them. Just like any other community in Nigeria, we have criminals in the Fulanis too. But you are discussing on about 30 million people in Nigeria. You are talking about 60 million cattle families in this country. So if you take the ratio, if you go to the prison, definitely you see the Fulanis are in the large numbers more than any other person in the prison. What maybe it's because of our number. You cannot expect a particular tribe that occupies maybe one local government and compare it with a tribe that has a spread across the whole country.
If this is so, what's the Mieti Allah group doing about this? So you must be able to see if the bad guys
Mieti Allah as a voluntary organization, there's very little Mieti Allah can do as a voluntary organization. But we have been calling on government, we have been reporting on it. Well, the best outfit of security that we have that are cooperating with us, in fact, is the Inspector General of Police. He knows everything about what we have been doing. Take, for instance, the Olufala issue. When the Olufala issue happened, we had a lot of media attacks. We didn't respond, we refused to respond, but we decided to take the bull by the horn. We went on tour to the southwestern part of the country. We went to Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, Osun, Ekiti. Then later we landed in Ondo. We met with the Ondo state government. Then finally, we visited Olufala himself. We discussed a lot with Olufala. That was what led that matter to rest. Because what happened then was more of propaganda than what actually happened. Definitely Olufala was kidnapped. He has paid ransom. Later I learned there are some planners in the group. This one cannot dispute. But we always confess we have criminals in our midst, just like any other community in the country. But profiling the whole race for crimes perpetrated by few or some, I mean, is something that should be looked at.
I'm just wondering now, though, some solutions have been proffered, and I would totally understand your concern. And this concern, I'm sure a lot of people will see reason with you. But looking at the solutions that have been proffered in this bill, I don't know if you've noticed that a lot of people are rejecting, are saying that this bill cannot work in terms of how it's been proposed. What do you say to those people? What other alternatives do you think that they can be provided? Because people say that the Fulani herdsmen, as you rightly said, is their business, is their way of earning a living. And if that is the case, then they should be able to also buy land to see how they can invest and ensure that their cattle gets the grass that they need to eat and water without destroying other people's property. What do you say to those people?
They are entitled to their opinions, definitely. And today, because of the profiling, whichever community that sees a Fulani man around its area, it becomes jittery. So sometimes the use of that community will go to provoke the Fulanis, will go to push them by force, or will start by shooting their cows. In some areas, that was what ignited, that is what will ignite problem in some areas. For instance, this thing started in Benue State. It started in Benue State. We have visited Benue State severally during the last administration, and we have succeeded in bringing the tension down in Benue then. Because what we discovered then, when we discussed with the Fulani, we said, what's the problem? Why are these things happening? Why are you spoiling our names? They said, well, look, when we go to graze in the forest, an area that doesn't belong to anybody, there's no farm around that area, people will come and compel us to give them money to graze in those areas. And even when we settle, another group will also come and request for money from us. If we refuse to pay, they will shoot 1, 2, 3 of our cows. What people don't know about the Fulani man is, a peace-loving Fulani man, when he comes to an area, he normally refers to the Fulani leadership of that area, then later to the traditional institution in charge of that area. They don't live like this. They don't go to area and stay like this. They normally refer to their leadership of the Fulanis and to the leadership of the traditional, that is the natives of those areas. They refer
so irrespective of what region, they still do that?
You say?
Irrespective of the region, they go to the
wherever they go to. Wherever they go to. Wherever they go to. Take, for instance, 20 years back. How many Fulanis can you get in the southern and eastern parts of the country? Not many. Because the population was manageable then. The population of the animals too was manageable then. But today, the population of human beings has grown. The population of animals has grown. We now have about 30 or over 30 million cows in Nigeria with over 150 million of sheep and goats. So if you don't plan for these things, there's definitely going to be a problem. That is why we are calling on government to do something that will settle these people in a place. We are all tired of this trouble. We are all tired of this trouble because an average Fulani man moves with his wells, moves with his animal, lives in the forest.
Do those average ones carry AK-47?
No. That is one other aspect I will have to correct. If you see a Fulani man handling AK-47, that Fulani man must be a cattle rustler. He must be a cattle rustler. Because cattle rustling has become so much that one wonders if there is security in the country. But with the coming of this administration, we are now seeing a lot of improvements. But whoever sees a Fulani man handling a cattle, that Fulani man must be a cattle wrestler. Because no peace-loving Fulani man will carry AK-47 and be going around with it.
What kind of improvement, when you say we've started seeing some kind of improvement, you just...
With this administration,
yes.
We have, the administration has succeeded in recovering quite a sizable number of cattle from the wrestlers. You may be, I am sure, you are aware about the amnesty granted to some of them in Kano State. And after, that den in Porgore was dismantled. So a lot of cattle were recovered as a result of dismantling of the den of Russell Castle in that area. So we have a lot of such flash points in the country, and the security is very much aware of it.
Quickly here, do they have markings for those recovered cattle? How do you know yours from mine?
They have marks. They have marks, and they have some traditional ways of identifying. Look, a Fulani man, if you wrestle his cattle, if he comes, he will just maybe sing or call some names. All his cattle will come out from that group. Yeah.
If you rustle,
if you go to recover cattle from maybe if he will come to identify his cattle from the recovered rustle cattle, some will just move aside and sing or call names. You see their cows, their own cows, coming out from the groups. Most all of them have marks. They have marks that to identify their cows. They have them. They have them. That we have been doing. Our branches in Lagos have succeeded in catching about 4 times rustle cattle in Lagos State, and we brought them back to the northern part of Nigeria.
As far as Lagos?
Yes, they took them for sales.
So I'm just wondering, do you think that Mieti Allah right now, knowing some of the solutions to the problems, that have been proffered, do you think that your group will be interested in helping to buy land for people who are willing to settle their cattle and maybe think of growing grass for the cattle to
you see, First of all, this issue of ranching that is being mentioned, well, it's not a bad idea, it's good. But it has to take time. It's a long-term issue. It's not something that will be done immediately.
How much time will it take?
We have gazetted reserves. Let's develop those reserves. Let's have them developed. Let's provide water. Let's provide amenities in the reserve, schools and what have you. If this is done, a lot of Fulani men will want to stay in those reserves.
Let me take you back to what you said earlier. You know, when you said that if they go to graze in a forest that nobody owns, people come to ask them to pay. But don't you also think that sometimes they could be wrong to assume that nobody owns those places, and they may not necessarily have grown as a forest? It could just be overgrown land that people actually own, and then the herdsmen could misjudge that nobody owns them, and people come and say, no, for fear of future, so you don't settle here, this belongs to me. That can happen. It's
possible. We know about it. You know, the land possession or the land custody in the north differs a bit from what is obtainable in the southern part of the country and the eastern part of the country. If you go to the east, even the forest is owned by people. It's owned by communities.
Do you tell your members that?
They know it. They know it. We know those areas that lands are owned by communities. That is why I said when they come to an area, they must refer to the traditional institution in that area before they even stay in the area. We have visited so many cities. We have gone to the eastern part. We have been to Iboy. We have been to Enugu severally on settlement of this type of disputes. We have been to Port Harcourt, that is Cross River. We have been to all the southwestern. There is no place that we have not visited for in the settlement of crisis between farmer and cattle breeder, because this has been there for quite some time. The history of this crisis is as far back as the history of.
So are you helping the police identify those who do this?
Well, why not? If we know them, why not? Right. Because we are also victims of these crimes.
Okay.
So it's unfortunate that today the Fulani man is, despite being a victim, he is today seen as also a culprit.
All right, Baba Othman Ngelzarma is the National Secretary, Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much.